Hello everyone and welcome back to Starkey Farmstead. So let me show you what I'm doing today on the farm. We did not cut our grass for about a month because of the drought. It was so bad. And one of the worst things that you can do for your grass during a drought is to actually cut it. So our grass had grown pretty straggly and scraggly, but it needed a good cutting. So my husband got out here and he cut it, and it looks like a velvet carpet. It's amazing. But I'm going to show you what I'm going to be doing with the grass clippings, because the worst thing we can do is burn it, bag it up and put it in a landfill, or not use it appropriately. See, the thing about grass is it can actually be food for your chickens. On top of that, it can be turned into compost. On top of that, it can actually be used as a fertilizer and a mulch. So I'm going to show you real quick all 3 different ways that you can appropriately use your grass clippings to help amend your soil. So let's say you've never gardened, but deep in your heart, with the way the world is right now, you better secure your food. So you're looking on how to start a small raised bed or a small in-ground garden. So here's what you need to do. Let your grass get a little high, cut it, and you're going to want to rake up all your grass clippings. Now, some of you might have those amazing little grass picker-uppers. Well, I don't. I told you guys, I put a lot of sweat equity into my property, and this is one of the ways that I do it. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to take this wheelbarrow grass, and I'm going to go ahead and take it into the chicken coop, and I'm going to show you guys how it can be used for food and how it can be used to make compost. So this is my chicken coop, and as you can see there, it looks like there's a lot of brown on the ground. Now, when you're making compost, guys, you need to remember you need browns, but you also need greens, okay? So greens are going to be anything that as they break down, they're going to heat up. They're going to add something called nitrogen. So I've got a lot of carbon already built up on the ground where the chickens are currently standing. I'm going to wheel in the wheelbarrow, dump the grass, and we're going to talk about making compost. All right, so here we go, guys. This is the brown I'm talking about. So one of the things that I do is as I'm weeding my garden, all of the weeds go in here with the chickens, all right? The reason is they will eat the seeds, they will eat the leaves, and then they leave all this debris behind. Now, what this does is over time, it will make amazing compost, but it's gonna need some greens. Okay, so that's what we're doing today, and here we go. Now you can see the ladies have already piled in, right? Guys, look, you don't necessarily have to free range your chickens to get them a balanced diet, but you do have to be responsible about bringing what they need to them if you cannot let them out to go and get it. Because of the type of gardening that I do, my ladies cannot free range 9 months out of the year. Now they do free range 3 months out of the year during the winter. But during the rest of the year, it is my responsibility to bring them what they need to help them be healthy and to lay the most nutrient-dense eggs possible. So the ladies are going to pick through. They're going to take out their favorite weeds and grass out of here. As you can notice, there are a little bit of leaf debris in there. That's considered a brown. That's considered a carbon, and that is okay. So what they're going to do is they're going to eat what they want, but whatever's left over, tomorrow or the next day, I will come out here with a pitchfork and roll all this heavy debris right here. See it? I'll mix all that in with those greens, and over time, it's literally going to make the most beautiful compost you have ever seen. Now, I'm not really big on bagged feed for any of my livestock. In fact, my dogs are pretty much on a complete natural diet, all right? Believe that bagged feed has a lot more toxins and chemicals than we think that it does. And because pet food regulations are so lax, you have to be concerned with the byproducts and the toxins, say, on the corn that they're using. I don't want these guys eating genetically modified corn and then that getting in their meat or their eggs that I then am going to consume, as well as my dogs and my born cat. So I'm real big on making sure that I balance their diet. So here at Starkey Farmstead, we actually plant specific food for them. One of those being comfrey, all right? So comfrey is an amazing plant. highly advise that even if you don't have a homestead or farmstead, even if you don't have livestock, guys, get you some comfrey on your property. It is an amazing medicinal plant and you need to check into it, okay? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave these ladies and the few gentlemen that are in here alone so they can go ahead and do what they do. All right, guys, so if you never caught the video of me and my god baby building soil right here, about a month and a half ago, he and I, and he's 4 and he's amazing, came out here and we brought shredded paper, cardboard, some horse manure, some rabbit manure, and some grass clippings, and we began to cover this soil right here, okay? And the reason we did is this is basically going to be a first-year bed, and we're going to be planting things like mustard greens and collards, but it's on hard packed clay. So we had to cover this soil enough that it was actually, do you see the clay? Can you come in for a close-up? You have to let them see because the light, you're blocking the light. Okay, so you see the clay, right? But look at what's on top. It's actually producing a beautiful, usable soil. Now, guys, let me tell you about clay. Clay is the best soil in the world, all right? It is literally the most nutritious soil in the world, and it's also has more land, it's got clay on it than any other type of soil. So we have to learn to work with our soil, not against it. Now, what I'm going to do, I've got all these amazing grass clippings, right? So I'm just gonna come out here, and anywhere I still have breakthrough with weeds, I'm gonna cover it with that hay. With the grass. Now, as the grass breaks down, it's going to add nitrogen back to the soil. It's gonna dry out, and it's gonna look very similar to hay. And it's also going to mulch down on top of the soil, keeping this extremely hot Louisiana sun from making that clay literally unusable, okay? Now, I do want to point out the reason this is still here, guys, is hibiscus, and hibiscus is medicinal. So, now, I'm going to show you what a raised bed looks like and how we can use that grass for that too. Okay, so we've talked about how you can use the grass clippings in a bed to create like a soil, right? We've talked about feeding your chickens with your grass, or if you have goats, cows, any of that, guys, they like grass clippings. Now we're going to talk about the raised bed. Oh, and we learned how to use it for compost, right? All right. So what we're going to do here, I'm going to turn the camera around. I'm going to talk to you for just a second about what this is. This is a perennial raised bed. It is literally the only raised bed on the property. All the other beds are no-till directly on the soil. Now, this is open to the soil also, but it's been here for a while. And what we have is just a really good soil built up in the spot. It is perennial because it has things like this, ginger, and if you come down here, we've got turmeric. You keep going, and we have the asparagus, which is beautiful. Next year will be our 3rd year, and I'll be able to actually harvest it. And I have a lot of flowers that I leave here for the hummingbirds, the moths, the butterflies to overwinter. What I want to work on today, guys, is this one area right here in front of the camera, and this is how I'm going to do it. So what I have is a paper bag, okay? So you can use newspaper, paper bags, you can use cardboard, all right? And I'm gonna lay that directly on the soil. Now, I opened the bag up for one main reason. You don't want your paper layer to be too thick, or it will literally take like a year for it to break down, and you don't want to do that, guys. So I opened it up. Now, the next thing I'm gonna do is take everything in this wheelbarrow, which is shredded leaves and grass clippings, put it there. All right, there you go. That simple. So what's gonna happen here, the brown paper bag, the grass clipping, is gonna kill all the weeds beneath it. It's gonna block the sun. It's gonna smother them out. It's going to break down, turning itself from a mulch into a compost. It's going to attract the earthworms, which are gonna aerate the soil, bringing nutrients down into the soil. It is also going to add nitrogen to this soil, guys. Basically, what I just did was take a bunch of stuff that would have went to a burn pile, to a trash can, to go to a landfill, and created healthy soil with it. That is what regenerative agriculture is all about, you guys. It's about taking what you already have in your hands and using it to create an output that didn't cost you a whole lot of money to grow healthy, nutritious food. We can do this. It is very important that every single person in the entire world learn how to grow food. Now, the last step is get your area watered. So the area that you just covered with newspaper, cardboard, paper bags, leaves, grass clippings, hay, straw, manure, literally any organic matter that you just put on the soil to start breaking down to help you kill weeds, add nutrients, and amend your soil, you're going to need to keep it damp until it begins the breaking down process, all right? So that's what's going on back here. Hello everyone, sorry for how dark this video is. We literally just got a phone call from someone that said, hey, can you guys come get this rabbit? Well, they're from India and we assumed they meant one rabbit. We just refilled our rabbitry again. My husband came in with the first load. I was counting like 10. So I'm waiting to see how many more he's going to be bringing in. Now, I'm going to tell you, I'm telling you all this for a couple of reasons. Please make sure that when you take animals onto your property, that you do something called quarantining, okay? So we have mandatory 30-day quarantines here at Starkey Farmstead, regardless of what type of livestock or animal it happens to be, okay? So they need to be kept away from what we call your core stock or your breeding stock. So these rabbits will be kept on the other acre of property that we have, the building right there that you can see. They're actually going to be in there. So what he's doing right now is bringing in the rabbits. The local grocery store, it's not even a grocery store, it's like a corner store, okay? Down the road, they're coming from there. He's going to get them and he's bringing them home and then setting them up in cages, extra cages we had in the main rabbitry. They will have their own watering system separate from our established rabbits. And I'm going to have to quit taking phone calls and quit answering anybody on YouTube for the remainder of the night, guys. It looks like I'm going to need to be doing some medical attention. And it looks like I'm going to be needing to pick some fresh food, some herbs, and let's see if we can't get these rabbits back up to par. Thank you so much for rowing in our boat. For the ones of you that have been sending money in, God bless you. Yes, it is coming in. We almost have enough for the plane ticket, the $860 plane ticket on Cash App. Now, Venmo is very different where I live. It takes 1 to 3 days to hit my account, and today is a holiday. So it will be Wednesday before that money, any money that you've sent through Venmo, because it's Monday night, it'll be Wednesday before I can access that. Now, with the PayPal, I am seeing money come through, but it's the weirdest thing, guys. I don't understand PayPal at all. Never used it. I don't know how to get the money off. And half of it says that it's on a 24-hour hold, and the other money is available. And like I said, it's not letting me transfer it. So I'm going to go to my bank tomorrow and see if they can help me out with that. So if you can use Cash App or Venmo, I would prefer that. If you're putting like the super's great. Thank you so much. If you're buying merchandise, yes, God bless you. Get us to Maui. The problem is none of that money will get here until October when YouTube actually issues checks. So this is all new for me. I'm not joking. We just monetized 2 days ago. Yeah. And so I'm telling you guys, I know very little. All I know how to really work is Venmo and Cash App. And if I had a preference, it would be Cash App, because I can take that money and instantly put it into my account and then use my debit card to get the plane ticket. So God bless you all so much. I have seen the $1 come through. God bless you, because I've been there when I've only had like so many dollars left in my account, and I felt the urge to give, and I gave that $1. So I see you too. And your $1 counts. So hashtag where are the children? All right, Steve, so how many did you pick up?
8 on the first load, 8 on the second load.
Wow.
I was not expecting that. That's why I only brought that little cage.
Yeah, they said one rabbit.
I could have swore he said one.
Yeah, I was explaining to everybody they're from India, so it's okay that we had miscommunication. All right, so I know you got them set up in the rabbitry in quarantine. What do you need from me, like right now? Do I need to bring like fresh fruit and vegetables? Hay? Can you think of anything you could think that will make them comfortable? Do we need a treat for ear mites or anything?
I won't be able to tell that until I see it in the morning time, during the day. This here, that's why they're in quarantine over there. That way it won't infect our rabbits we got. But what we do have to do is set up a bunch of water bottles.
Okay, yeah, I know you have a separate watering system. All right, I will put the phone down and I will start gathering water bottles.
Gather all
Everybody looks pretty healthy though, don't they?
Yeah.
They're pretty.
They were dirty because they're all in.
Oh my God, they're filthy.
Yeah. They all been eight in each
babies.
cage.
How big was the cage?
Oh.
Not much bigger than this.
Oh, no, there's a kennel, dog kennel like what we got Samson in.
Oh, so these were on the ground.
Yeah.
Colony raised.
Well, they're on the ground on concrete.
Yeah, but still, yeah, we're gonna have pressure sores and everything. All right, guys, we've got to go. We got a lot of work to do. To me, that is the most peaceful thing in the world. So God bless you. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more amazing videos about learning how to grow your own food. God bless you. Thank you for rowing in our boat and allowing us to row in yours.